North Africa was never really high on my list of travel destinations. The thing I noticed most when I got there is we never felt like strangers. We just met so many incredible people and were accepted right away, and it was kind of like we'd lived our whole lives there. We went to Aswan in Upper Egypt, and we went to Alexandria, and we went to the Sinai and spent some time in Dahab. And I ended up spending a large chunk of time in Cairo. And I knew by the end of the month that this was a country that I'd like to come back to. So looking into the American University in Cairo, I saw that they had a migration and refugee studies program, the second in the world. The first one was in Oxford. What a place to study migration and refugee studies. It's the hub for Africa and the Middle East. The hospitality once you go there really blew me away. And just very lovely people. I like the history of the city. It's a fascinating history. The architecture is spectacular. There's beautiful mosques and souks and temples and churches. You know, it's just such a vibrant, active city. There's always something to do there. So yeah, I love the country despite not being in love with the food, which kind of attests to what a great country it is, because we all know how important food is to me. So if you're going to Egypt, I would say the one thing you have to absolutely experience would be Cairo. Despite there being so many beautiful spots in Egypt, you know, they have the Red Sea and the Mediterranean Sea and the desert and the Sinai Mountains, but Cairo for me is really the highlight. It's kind of the pulse of Egypt. And I would say if there is a not to miss in Cairo, it would be a walk around in City of the Dead. It's a series of funeral tombs that the poor have reclaimed and made homes there and made lives there. And the architecture is absolutely fantastic. You can see the different eras of Islamic architecture in City of the Dead. It's really amazing. I was just there as a bystander, really. I had nothing to do with any of the protests. I watched things unfold. When the revolution first started, I was living in an apartment next to the Interior Ministry. So I think even that gave a person a very different experience from living in other parts of the city. I mean, as a foreigner there at the time, I think people would actually go out of their way to make sure that you were safe and you felt safe. I felt, you know, bad watching from my balcony, watching events unfold. And, you know, wanting to do something to help, but just feeling very useless and futile, knowing there was nothing you could do while people were being hurt right outside. That was a bit challenging. I wish for a stable Egypt. An Egypt where everybody feels safe, where the wealth is more equitable, where there's no nepotism. And I wish for Egyptians to have the government that they want themselves and not one that's been imposed from outside forces. That's what I really hope, and I think that's what Egyptians want for themselves and what they're going to achieve.